So you're thinking about retiring somewhere along the Oregon coast. A lot of people from Oregon retire along the Oregon coast. A lot of people come from out of state as well because the Oregon coast is such a great place to retire. But where are some of the best towns along the Oregon coast to retire, and what makes them the best towns? Well, that depends on what you're looking for. Do you want something bigger with more shopping and restaurants? Do you want something more quieter, something that's smaller, more peaceful? Do you need to be close to a major hospital? Do you like to walk along the beach and you want something that has a lot of good walkable beaches? Those are some of the things that we'll cover in this video. We'll break that down. We'll go through some of the pros and cons of our best towns to retire along the Oregon coast. All that starts now. Hey everyone, Seth Marchant with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from the beautiful Oregon coast. If you're not familiar with this channel, Living on the Oregon Coast, we show you what it's like to eat, sleep, play, work, all the pros and cons of living on the Oregon coast. And in this video, we're going to show you the best towns to retire in on the Oregon coast. Hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, make sure you get notified each time we drop a new video. We get people reaching out to us all the time that want to move along the Oregon coast, and we always love to hear from you. So if you're thinking about moving along the Oregon coast, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. You can even click the link below in the description to schedule a Zoom call with us. No matter how you get in touch with us, we've got your back when it comes to moving to the Oregon coast. All right, first on our list is Brookings. Brookings is the southernmost town on the Oregon coast. It's right there at the southern Oregon, Northern California border. It's a town that was founded in the early 1900s. It's a logging town. The population's about 6,000 and change, somewhere around there. So not a ton of people, smaller town. It's kind of got more of a spread out type of feel. It doesn't really have a real specific downtown where a lot of people hang out, which some of these other coastal towns will have a very central downtown. Brookings is a little bit more spread out. Things do tend to close early around Brookings, so things kind of die down around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. You might find some restaurants or bars that stay open until 10, maybe one that stays open until 11, but a lot of stuff closes down at 9. Even some stuff closes down at 7 or 8 p.m. So pretty quiet town. But they do have festivals and things going on downtown, things to do. Their farmers market is, it's right off the freeway. It's kind of in a parking lot next to a church. So again, things are kind of spread out, not so centrally located in a downtown like some of the other towns that will be on our list. But what you do have there is you do have some great restaurants, breweries, wine tasting. Chetco Brewing is great. Oxenfree is a great place to get a bite to eat and a drink. So you do have some good restaurants and bars and stuff like that, but a lot of stuff closes down there pretty early. The median home cost is just over $400,000, so a little bit on the higher side compared to the rest of the Oregon coast. The average property taxes for the county that they're in, which is Curry County, is about 0.66%, which is the lowest average on the Oregon coast. So that's one benefit, is you are going to find typically going to be lower property taxes if you're in Brookings. And the 65 plus demographic makes up about a third of the population there. So it is kind of an older person town. I think the median age is it's definitely in the 50s. So not a lot of stuff for young people, not a lot of job opportunities for young people. It's definitely an older person's town. Great, probably some of the best state parks in the state. Namely Samuel L. Boardman Park, probably the most scenic state park for sure along the Oregon coast. If you've ever seen any pictures of the Oregon coast and you see any kind of like these dramatic rock formations, chances are those came from Samuel Boardman Park. So you've got a lot of picturesque, a lot of great parks, a lot of places, a lot of trails to go hiking, places to go kayaking. Like you might imagine in Oregon, a lot of outdoor stuff to do. But Brookings is going to be kind of your smaller, sleepier town that's a little bit more spread out. And probably the best thing about Brookings, compared to some of the other towns along the Oregon coast, is going to be the amount of sunshine that they get. They get about 190 days of sunshine per year. If you contrast that with the northern Oregon coast, they get about 120 days of sunshine per year. So you're getting almost a full 2 months more of sunshine down in Brookings on the southern Oregon coast as you might get in like the central Oregon or the northern Oregon coast. So for you retirees, you know, a lot of people, everybody likes the sun, I mean, but you know, especially if you're a retiree, a lot of people also travel, like say from Oregon to Arizona, Phoenix. A lot of people go to retire in Phoenix, you know, to escape kind of the overcast clouds and the rain that you get here in Oregon. So if you're kind of one of those people, you're probably going to lean towards the southern Oregon coast, going towards that 190 days of sunshine a year as opposed to getting closer to 120 days of sunshine that you'll find on the northern Oregon coast. So for some people, the weather is a deal breaker. You know, so if you're one of those people and you want to retire along the Oregon coast, Brookings is probably going to be your number one choice. All right, so number 2 on our list is going to be Astoria. Now, Astoria is a good one to contrast with Brookings because just about everything about Astoria is kind of the polar opposite. Polar opposite geographically. It's on the northern Oregon coast. In fact, it's not technically on the coast, it is on the Columbia River, but it's just minutes away from the coast. So like I mentioned with Brookings, that sunshine, Astoria, on the northern coast, you're looking at about 120 days of sunshine. So a lot less sunshine in Astoria than Brookings. When you compare things like nightlife and food and shopping, Astoria has no shortage of shopping and restaurants and nightlife. There's bars that stay open there until 2:30 a.m. There's lots of breweries. It's very lively downtown. It does have more of a central downtown, whereas Brookings is a little bit more spread out. So when you go to Astoria's downtown, there's a lot of places that you can walk around and you're going to see a lot of people walk into shops and food and restaurants. They've got a really great boardwalk as well. That you can walk along, and that boardwalk, again, it's not on the coast, it's going to be right on the Columbia River, so that's what you're looking at, the mouth of the Columbia River. And there's a ton of great shops and restaurants and bars along that boardwalk as well. Astoria, a little fun fact for you, is the oldest town in the state of Oregon. It was Lewis and Clark came over here, as you might know, searching for the mouth of the Columbia River. And they settled in a place called Fort Clatsop, which is right next to Astoria. Astoria is in Clatsop County. The 65 plus demographic makes up about 20% of the population, so it's not just totally a younger person's town, although it does have a younger feel to it. Again, this is really kind of a polar opposite from Brookings. With that being said though, it is a great place to retire. TripAdvisor actually rated it as the #1 place to retire quite a while ago, about 16 years ago. It's definitely changed a lot in the last 16 years. Probably the bigger changes is kind of just growing up with restaurants and breweries and more people kind of traveling there and more tourism and stuff like that. So it is a little bit of a busier city. So if you want to be closer to food, restaurants, nightlife, fishing as well. The fishing is huge there. Buoy 10 is where a lot of people go to go fishing, which is just right over by the bridge, which you'll see the Astoria Bridge when you're Astoria. Can't miss it. The median home cost is just under $400,000, about in the 380s, maybe might be in the 390s. So not a whole lot different than Brookings. The average property taxes for that county, again, that's Clatsop County. It's about 0.85%, so a little bit higher than Curry County. So all in all, Astoria is going to be, it's actually not going to be the biggest town on our list. It's going to be the second biggest town on our list, but it's definitely got more of a lively hustle and bustle type of feel to it. Again, there's a downtown where there's always things going on, there's always people, there's always something to do. Not quite as secluded and private as like that southern Oregon coast feel that you would get from Brookings. So if you're somebody that's looking for more stuff to do, restaurants, people to see, you kind of like being more around people, you're not looking for that seclusion as much, Astoria is a good spot for you. Again, even though it's not on the beach, it's just minutes away from the beach, and there's a ton of sandy beaches to walk along. So if you're somebody that likes to walk along the beach, or there's actually a few places where you can drive along the beach there, just south of a shipwreck called the Peter Airedale shipwreck. That's a great one to check out. So all in all, that's what Astoria is going to be. They do have a major hospital right near their downtown, so you don't have to travel far for medical care. So Astoria is going to be kind of your bigger town. I might compare it a little bit to Portland. If there was one town to compare along the Oregon coast to the biggest city in our state, it would probably be Astoria. So if you're looking for more of that feel, Astoria is probably going to be the place for you. All right, so next on our list is Florence. Florence is going to be the central Oregon coast. So now we're north of Brookings, but south of Astoria. Florence is really known for their dunes, and that's why you see on the map here, I'm including a satellite view of the map for Florence, so you can kind of see all those dunes right there. You see all those dunes down there. In fact, Florence is also known for the author of the science fiction book Dune, which was written, I think, like sometime in the 50s, came out with a movie maybe in the 80s, something like that. I didn't see the original, but I did see they did make a remake recently. I thought it was great, and apparently the author of Dune was inspired by the dunes of Florence, Oregon. So we do have some incredible dunes here. It's kind of what Florence is known for. So again, that's kind of what you see on that satellite view of the map. You see all those dunes just south of downtown Florence there. And so if you do any kind of outdoor recreation relating to dunes, bikes, quads, ATVs, UTVs, whatever, Florence might be kind of the obvious choice for you. They've got great beaches there, calm beaches. Not that you go swimming in too many places in Oregon, but you might be able to go swimming, temperature permitting, or if you have a wetsuit, and some of these beaches around Florence, as opposed to Brookings, where there's not a lot of swimmable places. If you look at Brookings and kind of the landscape and some of the rocks, a lot of the beaches there get deep real fast, aren't safe, big waves, so a lot of stuff around there isn't quite swimmable. Not that a lot of people get in the Oregon coast, but Florence, you do have calmer beaches if you did ever want to dip your toe in the water. Now Florence does have a great little downtown. It's kind of a quaint little downtown, which is right on the Siuslaw River. You've got a boardwalk there that you can walk along. There's some shops. There's a Moe's Seafood right on the water right there. So it's a great little downtown that if you want to walk around, it's kind of lively. It's definitely not a younger person's town though, but it is still lively. Most of the people that live in Florence are in their 50s. Almost half of the population is 65 plus, so this is definitely going to be the oldest town as far as the population demographics go for any of the towns on our list. Now Florence is a little bit of a quieter town, similar to Brookings. A lot of stuff closes at 9 p.m. There's not quite as many, like say, restaurants and as much shopping as, like say, in Astoria. You've kind of got your quintessential small town coastal stuff, fast food places, like you've got a Dairy Queen, you've got an A&W, which you don't find too many places in Oregon these days, that even has one of those old-fashioned drive-ups. Other than that, things tend to close down pretty early. I did find a bar about 15 minutes up the river in a little town called Mapleton. I've never been there myself, but it's called Frank's. It looks like they close at 11 p.m. If you like dive bars, it looks pretty divey, so it looks like a great little spot. It looks like they do music from there, in there from time to time. So that's the only place that I could find that stays open past 9 p.m. So this is going to be a small, quaint town, mostly older people, that closes down pretty early. You do have a major hospital right there in town, so you don't have to travel far for a hospital. And then again, like I mentioned, you've got the dunes and you've got some great beaches. So if you're a beach goer, a beach walker, Florence might be the town for you. All right, next on our list is Coos Bay. Coos Bay is going to be the largest town on our list. Population somewhere around 16,000, something like that. There is another town that's sort of connected, just right next door, called North Bend. Their population's somewhere around 10,000 people. So put those two areas together, which you look on a map, you'll see they're connected right there. This is definitely the biggest town on our list. And similar to Astoria, Coos Bay is actually not right on the coast. As the name implies, it's on a bay. As the name implies, it's in a bay. The coast, though, as you can see on a map, is just a few minutes away. And when you head towards the coast, the first things you're going to run into are some amazing state parks. Shore Acres, Sunset Bay, and Cape Arago are all incredible state parks. They're all beautiful. There's a lot of beach access. There's plenty of places to go walk along the beach, see some incredible things. There's some places to camp along the beach as well, if you enjoy that. And Coos Bay might be one of your better choices if you like to check out the parks and the hiking and the trails and all that kind of stuff. There's just no end to all these different parks that you're surrounded by. And your 65 plus population for Coos Bay is somewhere less than a quarter. It's 22, 23%, something like that. So kind of in the middle as far as our retirement demographic goes for our list of towns. So aside from all the outdoor stuff to do, you do have a lot of great restaurants, a lot of shopping. There is a downtown in Coos Bay that a lot of people hang out around. That's where the farmers market is. It's right downtown. There's a boardwalk as well that's right on the bay that's nice to walk along. North Bend, again, which is right next to Coos Bay, they have a downtown as well. It's a lot smaller. A lot of people tend to hang out in the downtown in Coos Bay, and there's a lot more going on in the downtown in Coos Bay. They do events and festivals kind of year-round from time to time, right there in downtown or right there on the boardwalk. So this is a town that's a little bit more lively, stays open a little bit later. You are going to find some bars and restaurants that stay open later. Lots of places nearby to get fresh crab as well. You do also have a casino, technically in North Bend, but again, it's right there next to Coos Bay. So anywhere you live in Coos Bay, you're just gonna be minutes away from the casino. So if you like casinos, this will definitely be one of your top picks along the Oregon coast. There's a few more casinos along the Oregon coast, namely in Lincoln City, which is north. So Coos Bay is north of Brookings. Of course, everything's going to be north of Brookings. It's the southernmost town, but it's south of Florence. So Coos Bay is kind of going to be on that southern Oregon coast. And one thing about Coos Bay, you do have a lot of houses that have waterfront views. Now, not necessarily ocean views, we're talking bay views here, but if you're looking for a house that has a waterfront view, that's one thing to consider about the Coos Bay North Bend area, is there are a lot of homes around the water, around the bay, where you have a great view. And then medium home cost in Coos Bay, this is gonna be on the lower side. So it's under 300,000. It's somewhere around 270 right now. So again, compare that to Brookings, which is low 400. So the median housing being like right around 270. Your cost of living is also probably going to be lowest in Coos Bay. You do also have a major hospital, actually the largest hospital along the Oregon coast, the Bay Area Hospital in Coos Bay as well too. So if you do, if medical care, being close to medical care is important to you, you want to be in a bigger town, great state parks, food, restaurants, events going on downtown, farmers markets. They do walks and wine walks along the boardwalk. Coos Bay might be the town for you. All right, now finally on our list is Gold Beach. Now Gold Beach is kind of, it's very similar to Brookings. It's just north of Brookings, maybe 30 minutes away or so roughly. It's, I think there's another really small town between Brookings and Gold Beach, but basically Gold Beach is kind of the second southernmost town on the southern Oregon coast. So Gold Beach is going to give you a very similar feel to Brookings. They don't really have like a downtown where everything's kind of in one place like a Florence or a Coos Bay or an Astoria. Things are spread out a little bit more. The population's even smaller in Gold Beach than it is in Brookings. Last I checked, it was under 3,000 people, so very small. Same type of deal with everything closing down early. Things don't tend to stay open past 7, 8, 9 p.m. Some restaurants, some places don't even stay open year round. It gets very quiet in the winter time. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. One difference between Gold Beach and Brookings, I would say, you do have a major hospital right in Gold Beach. You don't have one in Brookings. You've got some clinics. You have a VA clinic as well. But if you want a major hospital, you're gonna have to go north from Brookings to Gold Beach. Another big difference is kind of like I mentioned with Florence, the beaches. Brookings doesn't have a ton of sandy, like walkable beaches. It's more of those like dramatic rock formations. There's houses up on the cliffs, more like you see with like Northern California. Gold Beach does. There's a ton of beaches to walk along, sandy beaches. The swimming is not good there. Again, you are farther south, so these beaches, they take like a real steep dive. Like once you go a few feet like right off of the shoreline, you're getting into like deep, dangerous water. So probably no swimming along those areas, but tons of beaches if you just want to walk along the beach, look for shells, look for sea glass, my aunt loves to do. And usually most all of the beaches down around Gold Beach, regardless of where you're going, not a ton of traffic, not a ton of people. There's some places along the beach that I've walked along there and you literally don't see another person for as far as the eye can see. Now, those are beaches are maybe a little bit kind of off the beaten path, but nonetheless still around or in Gold Beach. So that's going to be one kind of difference, but all in all, Gold Beach is very similar to Brookings. So if you can't find a place in Brookings, you might look towards Gold Beach. A lot like the rest of the other towns, there is a river that runs right through Gold Beach. The mouth of that river is the Rogue River. Something, if you like a little bit of adventure, I would suggest. There is something called Jerry's Jet Boats that does trips up this river, the Rogue River. And they do a handful of different trips. I would recommend the longest trip, which is just over 100 miles total. So you go about 50 miles up the river, which is farther than any of the roads go up the river. So you run into, you're in the wilderness. You see a lot of wilderness. You see some things that you might not see other places, such as bears, for example. And so that's a really cool kind of trip to take, is to take a jet boat ride up the Rogue River. And of course, just like any other place that has a river, the mouth of the river meeting right there. Just like any other place too that has a river, you're gonna have some great fishing. So if you like fishing, if you wanna charter a fishing trip or something like that, if you like to fish consistently, there's a lot of great fishing up the river, not a lot of people. So like I said, the population's under 3,000. So if you want something smaller, quieter, you can walk the beaches. You don't necessarily need like that big, downtown where there's lots of events and stuff going on consistently. You like having a river that you can go up for whatever reason, fishing or just hiking or checking out, the wildlife. Gold Beach is definitely a great spot. It is also in Curry County, just like Brookings is. So the average, as I mentioned, tax rate is 0.66%. So you're gonna have lower property taxes in that area as well. And also with property taxes, Oregon does have a senior property tax relief program. I'll include a link in the description below. There's a PDF if you want to check that out. That might apply to you. So if you're going to be cost sensitive, if you're looking for somewhere where property taxes aren't quite as much, again, if Brookings doesn't work, you can't find a place in Brookings, Gold Beach might be the right place for you. All right, so that rounds out our list for top retirement towns along the Oregon coast. If you're thinking about moving somewhere along the Oregon coast, if you have more questions about these towns or what it's like to retire in some of these areas, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. You can even click the link below, like I mentioned, to schedule a Zoom. No matter how you get in touch with us, we've got your back when it comes to moving to the Oregon coast.